Hello to everyone that's on the attendee side. If you're in the attendee side, please, we haven't started the meeting yet. We're just waiting for people to trickle in. Um, if you have a question for me right now, I'll take it. We have a little bit of time until more members come in. So this is not a part of the meeting, so this is unofficial. So unless you have a question for the actual meeting, it starts at 7. So if you could lower your hands and wait until then okay, I can see that. Okay, perfect.
All right, it should work now. Hopefully the audio came through.
We will begin momentarily for everyone that's in the audience. If you are a board member, raise your hand and I'll promote you to panelist.
Yeah, Chris.
Again, we don't begin the meeting until 7, so if you can please lower your hand for the meantime, I would appreciate it. Right now, the only ones that should be raising their hand are people that are for the panelists, that are going to be panelists. So for now, Audela, I'll lower your hand. Raise it back up when the meeting begins at 7. Hey, Coulter, can you hear me?
Hello, Chris.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. President. Just grabbing one or two more things here and I'll be ready to roll myself.
All right. Oh, it looks like you're ready to co-host. I don't have to promote you to anything. Okay, we still have 3 minutes for those in the attendee side. Right now, we only have 2 panelists present, so we might need a little extra time. And once we get to 7, we may need a little extra time, and we may ask you to wait a little bit longer. We've been doing Zoom lately, so it's a new thing for some of our members. And also, we just had Easter today and this weekend, so some of our members may be slow, but we're here. So just be patient with us. So hang on tight there. Hello, Audit. I see your hand is up, but we haven't begun the meeting yet. So for now, I would just ask you to lower your hands until the meeting officially begins. The same thing for you, Gina, just for now, so that right now the only people that should be raising their hands are those that want to be panelists. And of course, um, at the moment we do not meet quorum, so we are waiting for more panelists right now. We usually have in person and on Zoom, but lately we've been on Zoom because of technical difficulties. So until we get that fixed, we'll be Zoom for a while. So just letting everyone know. Let everyone know as well, everyone in the audience, if you can let your people You can let your members and stakeholders know, your fellow stakeholders know. For now, we'll be on Zoom for a while until we get our technical stuff done on our end, and then we'll go back to the hotel. Hello, Doug. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We see you. If there are any other board members that are going to be panelists, please raise your hand.
Hello, hi, yes, it's Doug.
Hello, Doug. Good evening. All
Hi.
right. Any board members in attendance? If you could raise your hand, that would help. Be very helpful. I saw a hand for a second there. If I see Jen L. Is that you, Jennifer? If that's you for as a panelist, go ahead and raise your hand and confirm it with me, just in case. We are still waiting on quorum. We still need a few people. They'll be trickling in momentarily. I see Joshua's entered the field as well. So we have 4 members. We need at least 3 more for quorum. Hello. If you are a board member, please raise your hand so we could promote you. Perfect. Makes my job easier. Hello, Mike. Welcome, welcome.
Hey guys.
Hey, Mike. Good to see you. Hmm. Oh no, I look very dark in this. Okay. Let me see if I could fix my video. Coulter, if you could keep an eye on the attendings to see if any board members trickle in, can you promote them?
Absolutely. I believe we're at quorum now.
Yes, I will now begin the meeting. Okay, I'm just fixing my lighting in the background. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I will now share my screen. Nope, this is the wrong one. But at least you can see my screen, right? All right, wrong one, but at least you can see it.
I can't see it.
Okay. No, I just took it down. There you go. Can everybody see this screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Welcome, everyone. Good evening. My name is Christopher Martinez. I am the president of the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. Thank you for joining us this fine Monday evening. We will begin the meeting at 7:05 p.m. and we will now have roll call. Julian, you like to take that away?
Yes. Christopher.
Present.
James is not on the board anymore. Jeff. Okay, I'm skipping Jeff. Jillian, present. Coulter.
Here.
Doug.
Here.
Jennifer.
Nothing, Jennifer, unless. Yeah,
Okay.
don't see Jennifer. Jennifer, if
Stephan-
apologies, Julian, just to make sure because I see a Jen that had her hand raised, but I'm not sure if that's.
Here. They just let
Oh,
me in.
perfect. Okay.
Okay, great. Stephanie.
Not present yet.
Mike.
Here.
Jack is absent. Vicky is not on the board anymore, right? Rosie.
She's just not present.
Wait, Vicky
Vicky,
is.
just
Oh,
not
okay.
present.
Sorry, I got confused. Josh.
Present.
Great. We have that. We are done.
Okay, perfect. All right, now I'll take public comment on non-agenda items. These are comments that are not part of the agenda. So if there is an item that you want to discuss, save those comments for that item. We will now take comments on non-agenda items. We will now be giving each member at least a minute. So I will start with the hands I see up first. So I'm going to go in that order, starting with Gina. So you have a minute to speak. Go
Chris,
ahead.
you want me to set a 1-minute timer?
Please do.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, thank you. This is the first time I've ever called in. Just give you a little bit of my credentials is I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota. I am calling in because yesterday I saw something that just disgusted me. I was watching somebody's live stream that was attending a holiday party in your district. It was advertised as a public for children and families saying all are welcome. Well, can you please explain to me why this church needed armed security guards for a family and children event? Not only that, these armed guards stood in front of a disabled lady in a wheelchair, would not let her pass on the sidewalk, and stopped a man, an elderly man who's also disabled, on a bike and wouldn't let him pass, and then was also then threatened by a member of Scientology. This security guard would not identify themselves, would not do their guard card.
Time?
That is 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you, Gina. Okay. The same applies for everyone else. A minute. Audit LA. When you're ready, Coulter, you ready? Okay. Go ahead. You have a minute.
Yes, yesterday was ridiculous. I've come here for a year now, and they keep abusing their permits, okay? They had a massive amount of armed guards, and they are still preventing, people going from on the sidewalk. because they're saying it's closed. I have video evidence. It is closed. And it's not. The city attorney made it very clear, BSS made it very clear, they have to keep it open for pedestrians, and they're not. So why are they keep getting permits? They were abusive. They had the battery trying to prevent a person on the bike from coming in and trying to gaslight him, saying that he was the one that touched them. No, they reached out and grabbed him to keep him from going down a sidewalk that he has an absolute right to go down. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the abuse, but it's because they're not put in check, that nobody's standing up to it, that I had my rights violated. I had to get the police there to escort me through so I can access that sidewalk. And the police had to tell them they wouldn't identify themselves. No patches. They're required to have patches to identify
Understand.
their companies.
Okay. Thank you, Water LA.
Mhm.
Okay. We'll go with Henry. And also, can I ask those that already have spoken to please lower their hands? Thank you. It would help expedite the process faster. Henry, I'll take your comment now. You got a minute?
This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, good evening. This is Henry. So I just want to comment on what happened to Audit LA. It's not the first time. And what I'm here to do for this neighborhood council, just like I've done for every other, is to push you guys into actually writing not just the CIS report, but you can also write letters of affidavit. Just simply taking a stance on the repeated abuse of people's civil rights. That is completely within your power. We've already discussed this before. And it's something that you need to exert because it will be taken away from you if you don't exercise your voice. The fact of the matter is there's egregious civil rights abuses all across the board, and this one entity, okay, has clear ties with government corruption and collusion and conspiracy with the LAPD to suppress people's civil rights, and you guys right now are in the making of serious history. Actually do your part and write letters of affidavits taking a stance on this. It's not that difficult. Anybody of you can do it. You can come together as a board and you can put it up for consideration as an agenda item. That's real activism right there. That's real advocacy rather than just standing by.
Thank you, Henry. Okay, we will now go to Haggis. I'll give you a minute. Also, again, thank you very much. Go ahead, Haggis. Or Haggis. Apologies for the pronunciation.
Nope, that's right. It's Haggis.
Okay.
I too am calling about what I saw, the behavior and the treatment of Audit LA and another elderly gentleman. They were abused. They were denied the access to a public sidewalk. We have well documented that the city attorney has said that they are not allowed to block the public streets. And they had, they picked and choose who they allowed to go through. There was while Audit was standing there speaking with the policeman, a woman with a pushchair walked right through the security guards. She couldn't have been more clear. She couldn't have expressed herself more clearly. And she had to sit there until the police arrived. And when they did arrive, they went to the wrong side. And they talked directly to Scientology first before coming to her at Fountain and L. Ron Hubbard, where she was sitting. This is a disgusting display of breach of someone's civil rights and their First Amendment right to be there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, now I go to Gigi's phone. I'll allow you to talk.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You got a minute.
Okay. So I don't know how things currently are working, but there was a time where when someone would want a special event permit, they would have to sort of run it by neighborhood council. I don't know if they technically had to have it approved by neighborhood council, but there was some type of information given to neighborhood council. I don't know if you guys are receiving all the Scientology permits, but they're starting to get permits again, and I'm afraid that it's going to be endless. And I wish that someone would look into this. I wish that you guys would go to City Hall make a comment about it. I wish you would, maybe do whatever, write a letter if you don't want to send a representative there to speak. But there's stuff that you can do, and this is bad for the neighborhood. The neighbors do not want this endless noise, this endless parties that are just, I don't know, every single weekend. Like, please do something about the endless Scientology permits. Thank you.
Chris, you're muted.
Apologies. All right, thank you. Now we will go from public comment. We're going to jump around because we got a few items that are very important. So we're going to take care of that. Community reports, just wait a little bit. We'll come back to you. We have one item that is of importance to us. Also, if you are a panelist, if you're a panelist of this board and have come in late, please raise your hand. We will promote you to panelist. So we will go to some of the items now. We will go to action items. Let's take care of consent agenda very quickly. I'd rather doubt we'll have people that want anything taken out from the consent agenda. So the consent agenda is as follows. Motion to approve East Hollywood Neighborhood Council Board meeting minutes of March 17th. The motion confirming Mark Sadler's first car holder, reapproval of 250 and reapproval 250, both for utility box murals. These are just reapprovals for bookkeeping records. I see your hand up, Doug. I ask you to unmute.
Yeah, on C, if that can be taken out because I had voted no on that originally.
Okay, we'll vote on that separately. All right, on the rest, A, B, and D, are there any more second guesses to that? Any more comments on those? Okay, I see none. So we will vote on C separately. On A, B, and D, this is together to just pass these. So I move.
I'll second.
Perfect. Jillian, I made the motion and Coulter second.
Yes, please give me a moment. Thank you. Okay. All right, Christopher.
Yes.
Jeff. Not here. Jillian, yes. Coulter.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Vicky.
Not present.
Okay. Rosie.
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Now we will vote on C by itself.
I move.
And I guess I'll second.
Great. Okay.
There's discussion on this. I'm seeing none. Okay.
Christopher.
Yes.
Jillian, yes. Coulter.
Yes.
Doug.
No.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Rosie.
Yes.
Josh.
Sorry, yes.
Motion passes. Christopher, you're muted.
Okay, thank you. That's the second time I'm losing it today, guys. Thank you very much for being patient with me. All right, update the bylaws. They're there. Remove it for the next one. We're going to be, I wanted to share New Year wishes for our Thai community. Thank you to Jennifer for reminding me and for passing this on. So happy New Year's to our Thai community. And I know we're late, but best wishes. Anyone else wants to offer best wishes to them?
Happy Thai New Year.
Yeah, happy Thai New Year.
Jennifer, go ahead.
It might come up in community reports with CD13, but there is going to be a Songkran Festival this month
Mhm.
in Thai Town. So I think that's definitely something worth celebrating and sharing with our community once they have some social media posts up.
I agree. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So with that, we go on to C, discussion of possible action regarding a motion recognizing Armenian History Month and the genocide this year, with the addition of supporting the motion provided by LA County. So again, I agree with this motion. I agree with this. This is something that needs to be recognized. And thank you, Jennifer, for bringing this up to us again. Thank you, like always, for being on top of this. So any words, any extra words anyone has? Jennifer, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, thanks for putting this on the agenda again this year. Unfortunately, it's something that we have to recognize, and it's an unfortunate event. Also, the ongoing atrocities against the Armenian community with Azerbaijan. So it's definitely important, extremely important for us to continue to recognize Armenian History Month as well as the genocide, which I believe is recognized on April 24th or 25th of every year.
Okay.
So
Anyone?
yeah, just and the motion is from Supervisor Barger as well as Supervisor Hahn, who are not our supervisors at all in East Hollywood. So definitely interesting change this year versus last year on the motion.
Agreed. All right. With that being said, I move.
I'll
Do we have a
second.
second? Perfect. Let me know when you're ready, Julian.
Who moved, please?
I moved and Coulter second.
Got it. Okay, Christopher.
Yes.
Jillian, yes. Coulter.
Yes.
Doug. Doug.
Yes.
Excuse me. Jennifer.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Rosie.
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. So with that being said, we go to discussion and possible action regarding a motion to oppose a Type 10 annual license application, retail storefront commercial cannabis activity at 4870 Fountain Avenue. There's a link to the notes. All right. With that being said, Coulter, take it away. Let's see what Plum discussed. I will go into the notes while you do that.
Sounds good. Okay, so first thing I want to say is that this neighborhood council has voted to support cannabis licenses in the past. I don't think this neighborhood council, based on its previous history, is against cannabis licenses or having marijuana in East Hollywood. For instance, we voted to, I think, close to unanimously for the to reapprove the license on Hollywood. And then a month or so back, we voted to approve one on Virgil that's coming in. We voted unanimously for that. At that same meeting, however, we voted unanimously to oppose the cannabis dispensary on Mariposa. The reason for that is somewhat similar to this one in the sense that we think that it has potential to be disruptive to the community. I motion to oppose this particular one for a variety of reasons. The one reason is it's so close to all the churches that's right around there. So for folks who don't know where this is on Fountain between Edgemont and the other street that's slipping my mind right now. But it's right by Found Oyster and Saffy's. It used to be a convenience store that now is being turned into a cannabis dispensary. Like I said, it's really close to the churches. And the other aspect to this, for folks who don't know the history of this area, we had a huge fight over the alcohol licenses in this area a few years back. And we had to come up with a compromise for all the neighbors. So for folks that don't know, that's right by Scientology and it's right by the self-realization. Those folks in general have moved there to live what I would describe as a peaceful existence, being able to go close to their church. So the alcohol licenses were a disruption to that at the time. Safi's, Square One, which is now I think Jim and James or something, and then Besties all applied for alcohol licenses at the same time. The compromise we came up with was that we would allow those alcohol licenses and then have the alcohol hours stop at midnight. In exchange for that, we were not going to expand alcohol licenses in that area, including the hours. Implicit in that agreement was that, in my view, that we would also not expand marijuana, even though we didn't particularly say that. I think it was implied in the idea that we weren't going to make that area have more disruptive activities. The other aspect to this that I want to hit home to people is just what a disaster, in my opinion, everything around cannabis regulation is right now in general. For instance, I attended the last cannabis hearing. There were, I don't know, 30 or 40 marijuana dispensaries that were there that were all going bankrupt right now because of how overregulated and overtaxed they are. And then conversely, that department doesn't have the funds or organization to properly regulate these dispensaries. We, CD13 and ourselves have found ourselves on different sides of these issues. My personal opinion, this is not a fact, just a personal opinion, is that I think that after going to these hearings and after dealing with the process around these, my feeling is the city's trying to approve as many of these as possible. The reason that I suspect is that because of the enormous budget deficit we're going to face next year of what sounds to be about $900 million, that the city's doing what is, in their view, is any possible way to bring in revenue, including bring in these dispensaries. What that means is that these areas where local communities don't want the dispensaries, the city is, in my opinion, pushing these down our throats, even when the neighborhood council, the surrounding schools, the surrounding community is against it. And so, you know, I just don't really see how this particular one is in the interests of the people of East Hollywood. And I think it's going to be disruptive to that community that's in the area. And I think it would be us going back on the deal that we essentially made with that area when the alcohol license stuff came up. So for all those reasons, I motioned to the last Planning and Land Use Committee to oppose this cannabis license. Jeff seconded it, and it passed 2-1 out of committee. And now it's here for us to go over. The one last thing I want to bring up is just sort of how these things work in general. A lot of people have asked basically if the churches in that area count as a sensitive use site. I personally think that they should count as a sensitive use site. However, I've gone over the law on this quite a bit. I have read through all the code in detail. I've had very lively debates with the city attorney over these cannabis licenses and how the law is interpreted. What it comes down to is that churches are not on the exempt list. And so that was not a way for us to fight this. The other aspect of this is that the Hope Church has drug and alcohol rehabilitation classes and meetings at their church that's right there. Now, for that to qualify, it would have to be registered with a very specific state agency as a drug and alcohol treatment facility. It is not registered with the state agency. Part of the concern that I've had, and I brought this up with the council office, is that we need to be more proactive in going to these places that, you know, I think practically we consider to be sensitive use sites, and then making sure that we're proactively getting them registered with the appropriate agencies so that they count towards the sensitive use sites. The council office replied that they did not want to put any man hours, any of their staff time into doing that, which means that now it's going to fall on our neighborhood council and in the community to try to do this ourselves. And so I think this needs to be a conversation going forward about us trying to identify various churches, various drug rehab programs, schools that aren't registered the right way with the state, daycares that aren't registered the right way with the state, so that we can make sure that in the future we have ammunition to try to fight these cannabis licenses when they're going into these areas that I think the law was intended to prevent them from going to. So that's all the background I have on this. And if anyone has any questions about how this works, let me know.
Okay, so we will now go to questions. If any of the panelists have questions for Coulter on this item, please raise your hand. Okay, we will now go to the attendees. The attendees have a minute. You have oh, I see Doug. So since you're a panelist, Doug, I will take your hand first. Go ahead.
I just had a question. Is the applicant present to make a presentation to us?
Coulter, I don't think so, right?
Possibly. I think this might be Leo here. One second. Leo, are you the owner of the dispensary?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
My name is Leo Itabarian, and I'm the representative of Olympia LLC. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to appear before you for the second time. I'm open to any questions. Any questions that anyone has, more than welcome.
Okay. I see a hand from our panelists. So I'll go with Doug first and then Coulter.
Well, this is Doug. I mean, I just would like to have a presentation by the applicant so that the applicant can explain why they choose this location and any rebuttal they might have to the statements that have been made thus far.
Okay, Leo, go ahead if you can.
Yeah, sure. So we go through as far as in regards to the church, we go through the local and state level through a pre-application review process and then a full application review process, which eliminates all of the sensitive uses. So the church on the corner, the Hope Center, is not a sensitive use. That's one thing. Second thing, this isn't, in my view, it's an adult use corridor with with bars and restaurants. I know Mr. Coulter brought up an alcohol license capacity issue. I'm not sure if I understand if that has anything to do with my project. As far as the convenience store leaving, that's not in my control at all, what happened there. And we chose this location because we want to serve our community legal cannabis, safe and legal cannabis for medical use and recreational use. Since day one, I've introduced myself to my neighbors. Everyone is on the same page around me. And if there's any issues that come up later on, we're not open yet. So if there's any issues that come on later on, I'm also the neighborhood liaison, and anyone can come by or write an email or call us with any questions, and we'll be happy to engage and settle everything down. We're looking to open first week of May. We do have our state license already. And we're due for a CRC meeting at LADCR, which is the Los Angeles Department of Cannabis Control, and on May 1st for our annual license. The neighborhood, and I do want to say lastly, the neighborhood council is a body that is essential to our community members and our community businesses. So having your support is essential. As far as the objections that Mr. Coulter brought up, I do want to point something out because not only me, but I grew up in that community, but people that live there know that I don't want to categorize the people that come to the Hope Center for counseling. So almost every day, I think between Monday through Friday, there's like from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. I'm not sure on the times. There's lunches and breakfast it's being passed on to whoever goes there. And right after the people that pick up the breakfast or their lunches, they sit down right in front of the church and to the side of the church and smoke dope, the crack, cocaine, and there's actual pictures and videos I have of that. So I don't know when was the last time Mr. Coulter was at the church, but or please just you guys need to check up on that. It happens almost every single day. Right afterwards, they eat their lunch, they litter, and then they go. So I don't want to categorize those people like, some are in need or some are getting counseling there. I'm not sure if they are, but they're homeless or not. But that's exactly what's going on in that corner. And I'm open for any other questions.
Okay, we are going into the question portion of this. So for now, if there are any panelists that have questions before we go to the audience, to the attendees, I see a hand from Coulter. So I'll let him ask his question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Leo, thank you for coming. I do appreciate that and you coming to talk to the council about this. Leo, so one of the concerns that we had was that, in the neighborhood councils, for whatever reason, the city doesn't involve us in that pre-approval process. And you had mentioned that in the Planning and Land Use Committee meeting that you had gotten this lease back in November and you started renovating January, maybe you started going through the process around then. And one of our concerns was, well, now you're just coming to us at the last possible second. And so you've gone through 6 months of planning on this and didn't come to the neighborhood council, which means you made a lot of investments before talking to the neighborhood council. And that concerned us because what that means is that the city doesn't really care about the neighborhood councils in this process and doesn't want the input of the local community around these cannabis dispensaries. And that's how we interpreted that at the time. I wanted to give you a chance to respond to that.
Sure. Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you for that question. So my answer, I'm going to have the same answer for you, Mr. Coulter, because at the time that I signed the lease, which was back in November of 24, there was really nothing going on at that moment or within that month for me to get in touch with you. So basically what I was going to get in touch with you at that time over that month was to let you know that I have a lease there. And then I pretty much paid from November to November's and December's and January's rent. And by mid-January, I found out that I'll be able to move forward. So again, there was just, I apologize if I didn't email you and tell you, hey, I'm this and this, and I have a lease on this location. I couldn't even mention cannabis at that time because there was really nothing going on. So that's the best that I can answer to that question.
Okay, and then lastly, I just want to respond to the thing about the Hope Church, and yes, we're aware of some of the issues with the clientele at the Hope Church, and I personally think the Hope Church does amazing work and is a huge asset to our community. But the fact that we have a lot of people there facing drug and alcohol addiction issues is part of my concern with having the cannabis dispensary there. And then furthermore, what I was referencing before is that they also have drug and alcohol rehabilitation classes outside of the times that they're serving dinner. I believe AA meets there and some other groups meet there as well. And so it's not just the people coming for dinner there that are doing whatever after, but it's also the people that are coming there specifically to try to get treatment, to try to turn their lives around. And so that's another concern I have about this dispensary being so close to that.
All right. With that being said, we go to the attendees. So I'll give you all a minute. So I have one, it has to be related to this item. And two, please try to make it a question for Leo so that we got him, or for Coulter. So here you go. We got a minute. Gigi's phone, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Okay, so I listened to the last presentation at the Plum, and I remember something about a question how many employees there were going to be. And there was a lot of confusion because I heard the number 1, but then there was talk about hiring armed security. So that would have to be more than 1 unless the armed security is the bud tender as well. So I was wondering, is there a better non-confusing number of employees that you have? And I also wanted to say, I don't agree with Coulter about the proximity to Scientology, SRT, Hope, because Safi's is there and they're pretty good. Their customers are pretty good. There's no issues there. So I don't think the proximity is a thing, but this guy just didn't seem prepared enough the last presentation. But yeah, I want to know about like the employees and the number of employees.
Leo?
Sure, thank you for that question. It's going to be a total of 3 employees.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now we go to Henry. Henry, I'm going to ask you to unmute. You have a minute.
Thank you. I'm just curious to see from the perspective of the business, right? I know Coulter mentioned the lack of involvement of the neighborhood council. I'm curious if either before the application or after the approval, I'm just curious as to when you were alerted as a business owner that part of your pathway to licensure required the contacting of neighborhood council to obtain approval. Honestly, just for my own sake of clarity, so I can understand where the city may actually be falling short on doing its part potentially on involving the neighborhood council. I'm just curious to hear when you were made privy to that you needed to contact neighborhood council.
So basically at the end, we went through the pre-application process. We went through the full application process. We got our notice of complete application. We got our state license towards the end, being honest.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will go to the next, Audit LA. I'll allow you to talk. You got a minute.
Yes, at the Plum meeting, Jeff mentioned that he was going to try to work with Hope to get them the proper status as a sensitive area. And I just want to know, I don't know, Coulter, if you would know whether or not he has done that and if he still intends to do that, because I agree with him. I think it's important that if they may just not know the system, or, if it is a sensitive area, then they have, like, they may need the neighborhood council's guidance in how to do that. Just like this person, this company needed the guidance to know that they needed to go to the neighborhood council. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't realize it until he was told, like you said at the end. And so Hope may not realize that they have certain rights. And see, I'm very much about rights, But I also want to say that the city needs to do a better job. They're not supporting the neighborhood councils, and I think that you guys need to fight for your right to be heard, for you to be able to be the voice of your community, because you know the community better than the city does. Okay, and they're doing this to you with this because they want the money. Yes, they're increasing all these fees and making all these changes because they're desperate for money for the pay for the budget. But I think you guys need to do a better job. I don't see a lot of advocacy for yourself. I do see Jack did it once when it came for being notified about special permits, and you guys did that. that's a great start. But now in this case, why not get together, put it on the agenda for next meeting to say we need to advocate for ourselves because then when you do it, maybe and get other neighborhood councils to join you because they're all feeling snubbed. I guarantee it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will now go to Max. Max, I'm going to allow you to talk. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I guess my overall question is, what's the plan for this neighborhood if not allowing businesses like this? We have a lot of empty storefronts and businesses that are very rarely, if ever, open as well. So it feels like this neighborhood, especially right there, is pretty dead. So what is the alternative to opening this type of business and allowing it?
Okay. Thank you, Max, for that comment. Okay. Thank you, Leo. Unless there's any more questions from the panelists or any more. If not, then we will go take this to a vote. Thank you very much, Leo, for being here, for taking the time to answer these questions.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we will now go to a vote. So this is a vote on a motion to oppose the Type 10 annual license application. So this is to oppose. Okay, do we have a motion?
I motion.
Okay, Jennifer motions. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Who second?
Rosie.
Okay, perfect. Jillian, you okay? You good to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Christopher.
Yes.
Jillian. Yes. Coulter.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Rosie.
Abstain.
Josh.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. With that being said, thank you, everyone. We will do the final action item for this section, which is discussion on a community cleanup in partnership with CD13 in the month of May, alongside other news that I've also recently got that this Friday, to add a little bit more since it's connected community cleanup, this Friday is Earth Day. So Assemblymember Zubur's office is also hosting a community cleanup on that day. So on Friday, it's from 8. It starts at 8, and I believe the Assemblymember will also be giving some communications. We'll be speaking at that event on Friday. So if you could make it, let me know by email if you can before then. I think we need a count to see how many people are going to show from us at least. So if you could make it on Friday, let me know. And also, I think I shared it with the neighborhood council as well, the Earth Day flyer. So I would take a look. I thought I had it out, but it looks like I don't. So just for the sake of keeping things in order, if we will go to Carla, who I spoke with, who is one of the ones that wants to brainstorm this idea for a community cleanup in May. So, and I'm thinking it's a great idea since we've already been doing them once a month. I know this weekend we just had one. So, and Josh, you've been like the head of it and a superstar on that. So thank you very much for everything you've done on that. So, Carla, would you like to speak a little bit more about this?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to run this idea by everyone, an idea for a community cleanup. I know you all have been doing a great job in the community and getting that going. So I was thinking that possible location for this community cleanup could be Normandy Avenue between Hollywood Boulevard and Melrose. I know that's a site for chronic illegal dumping and just litter. So I was thinking in that general area could be a great location for a community cleanup and getting that neighborhood a little bit more activated in doing that. So I ran this idea by Christopher, but this is something that we're hoping to partner with the neighborhood council on because you all are already doing the work. And then we also have our LA Conservation Corps that we contract with that could also support in the event. They have their trucks, and we could bring out a rollout bin and make it just a bigger community cleanup that hopefully targets some of that trash and that illegal dumping that we see a lot on in that side of East Hollywood. So yeah, just wanted to run the idea by everyone to see what your thoughts are, and we're happy to partner with you all on that.
So my first question is basically the date. We just still have a date, but we're looking for like May 17th-ish, correct?
Yeah, so May 17th is Saturday, could be the potential date, but obviously it depends on everyone's availability, but we're thinking May 17th could be a good date, enough to do outreach, enough to get everything ready for that date. But yeah, it depends on everyone's availability.
Okay. Josh, what are your opinions on this? What do you think? Or is Saturday the 17th sound like a good day? Joshua?
Sorry, I literally dropped at the moment that I'm sure you called upon me.
How much
So
did
I'm
you
back
hear?
now. Yeah, I just heard May 17th is like the date that you were shooting for, Carla. Um, I mean, in the past, we've been sort of lining these things up so that they occur like the Saturday before our monthly meeting. So I guess in May, that would be the 17th because May 26th is Memorial Day. So it seems like that would may work. I will say that like we're doing a lot. We've had a lot of really great feedback to the cleanups that we've been doing that we just I got some funding from our budget, and we kind of did a really great job cleaning up around Virgil Village and partnering with the Virgil Cafe this past weekend, and cleaning the area surrounding like Virgil and Melrose and Marathon and Hoover and Madison Avenue around there. So I think it's definitely something we'd like to discuss for future cleanups for sure. So I think maybe it's best at this point if like we could talk offline about it, maybe in greater detail about what the logistics of that would look like. Because right now, like we're building momentum, which is great. And I know like once we sort of build enough momentum by doing these monthly cleanups, like we're gonna really get big parts of the neighborhood activated. And definitely something I want to do is move, and I have been doing is moving them around the neighborhood. Our one last month was by LACC. And like I just said, last weekend we did Virgil Village. Our turnout increased by over 300%, which was great. And so we want to keep that momentum. So I would say that like we should talk offline about it, about the logistics of what it would be like if it's not partnering in May, maybe it's sometime in the summer, in one of the upcoming cleanups, because definitely I think using those Conservation Corps resources is something that I definitely want to do in the future. And so going to the mayor's infrastructure meeting last week on Zoom and getting in touch with LA San and the Office of Community Beautification about getting trucks and rollout bins out to ease us of relieving of the trash would be great. So I think in short, let's talk more offline.
And also reminder, Joshua, basically the 19th is our board meeting. So actually it's not a bad day.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
not bad.
because my sort of sub objective is to get people more involved in the neighborhood council, obviously. So it's very easy to be like, hey, it's Saturday. Why don't you come to the next meeting? That's on Monday. So I think that's a nice dovetail. So yeah, that the date seems good, but I would love to talk more with you, Carla, offline about it.
Yeah, happy to chat offline.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Carla. There are two hands that are up. I'll give you all a minute each. Better pertain to this topic, of course. All right, Audit LA, you have a minute.
Yes, I love the idea of cleanups, and monthly ones is great. I know that Scientology will likely be involved with some of them, which, you know, is their prerogative, your prerogative. But I do want to say, please do not allow them to pass out their literature. They are known to do that. They usually demand to do it, and if you say no, they are often ones to sneak and do it anyway. They will tell you it's not religious text. It's just
Okay, thank you, Audit LA.
that wasn't a
At this,
minute.
no, but at this point, you're going to something else.
No,
We're
I'm
talking
not.
about the community cleanup. Let's focus on that.
And I am talking about the cleanup. I'm saying don't allow them, because if you don't want me to come in with Bible scripture things, don't let them pass out their stuff. I mean, don't cut me off. I'm on topic. And now I'll be off topic if I said I think it's rude that Carla's here and you skipped over the rep things because she's here and making her wait. You're not respecting her time. That's off topic. But saying I don't want you to allow them to pass out their literature is my advocacy, okay? And that's not off topic, and I don't appreciate it, Mr. Martinez.
Continue. Finish your topic.
I said my point. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Henry, go ahead. You have a minute.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. I just had a question for Carla CRIP 13. And my question is for the cleanups, when it comes to obviously not just the cleanup itself, but what actually is the follow-up for when, say, you see either like a nonprofit or a business dumping on the sidewalk and they don't have a permit for the litter that they leave and they still just leave stuff on the public easement and it's clearly blocking access to the easement. I'm just curious on what CD13 does with it and what you guys have been told to do with such people and organizations that will dump and block the public easement. Do they get like fines or do they get write-ups? I'm just curious to see what that might look like.
Yeah, so if there's an incident where you do see the person who is doing the illegal dumping, that's something that's reportable through 311. There's a tab specifically for specifying if you did see the person who did the illegal dumping. And then from there is a system where they do fine if they do are able to confirm the person who did do the illegal dumping. You could report that to 311. And then but even if it's just chronic legal dumping that we don't necessarily know who did it. Either way, that's the process that our office follows, is putting in the 311 requests, sending sanitation out there, sending our LACC crews. We're constantly doing that in the neighborhood. But if you do happen to see an instance where you do notice the individual who is doing the illegal dumping, that's something that's reportable through 311. And then if you do put in that request, feel free to flag it to myself as well, and then I'm happy to look into the request.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Henry. We go to Gigi's phone. Is Gigi's phone, this is a first question, right, for this topic, Coulter? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I don't want to confuse. All right, go ahead. You got a minute.
I have a question for Carla that's sort of a follow-up for that. What would be, like, if someone didn't see specifically who put it out there, or someone was ordered to put something out there and abandon it, and just throw their trash there, but they admitted in court documents and in court cases that they owned that property, like, do they get a fine for that stuff? And I've just seen a failure in the cleanup in this neighborhood for the past year. So I was wondering, what's one little small thing? Like, there should be a revamp and cleanup in general in this neighborhood, in this city. There needs to be more cleanup. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have an answer specifically to your first part of your question, but we do notice the uptick in illegal dumping. So that's something that we would definitely want to target within our office, whether it's with our LA Conservation Corps or just sending sanitation out there. But I know there's been a couple delays when it comes to some city services, so like street sweeping, and those type of things that help mitigate some of that trash. So that's something that we're also looking into. But yeah, but I don't have an answer. I could get back to you on that, on the first part of your question. But in terms of illegal dumping, we do notice the uptick, and we're working on different solutions that we could think of to address that.
Okay, thank you for that. All right. So with that, we will now go to another topic. Thank you again, Carla, for that. So unless any more panelists have a question, if any more panelists have a question, we will move on. Anyone from the board? Josh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say one more time, like anyone on the call is, of course, is invited to join these cleanups. We popularize them on our socials. Please come and join the next one. Audit LA, hear you loud and clear, as I did last time when you said a similar thing. We are vigilant about not getting these events co-opted by any organization. So please know that is continually on our radar, and I hear you loud and clear. So we look forward to doing more of these in the future in various parts in the neighborhood so that we can do our part and encourage the city through the new My LA 311 app, which I would encourage everyone also to download because it's, had a little bit of a weird rollout, but it's doing great now. I encourage everybody on the call to download the My LA 311 app to report illegal dumping that you see so that we can each do our part in order to get the city cleaner. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua, for those words. I agree 100% with that. And yes, just to clarify, we cannot get sponsored for many things, or for anything really. What we do because we want to help the community. Nothing else and nothing less than that. Thank you very much. All right, questions have ended for this topic. There is only one last reminder. Earth Day again this Friday is an excellent event being hosted by Caltrans 637, Office of Governmental and Legislative Affairs, and Assemblymember Rick Chavez of Burr's office. So we will be sharing this in our socials. So please, if you have time, go to 8. And also for board members, if you can let me know if you are interested, let me know so I can send it their way so they can know. And it's going to be in the Western Avenue area. So it will literally be in our neighborhood. So also Maria Elena Durazo's office as well. So look forward to that. So let me know. And of course, we'll spread the word on this. Thank you all. Now we will go back up to community reports. So 2 minutes per report and 1 minute Q&A. So if you are a member, if you have a community report, please raise your hand. For now, we only would take the hands of those giving the report. Save your questions for them after they give the report, okay? So I see Joshua. Of course, I know Carla. So we'll go in that order. Also, Joshua, we'll fix that. We'll remove Hannah's name and we'll put your name, okay? So let's go. 2 minutes, Joshua.
Great. Thank you so much. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Well, good evening, everybody. Joshua Marin Mora, Office of Assembly Member Rick Chavez the Burr. Just wanted to, give a quick shout out to that cleanup event that we have over in East Hollywood. We're partnering with Senator Durazo's office. So if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you there. I have one quick update from the Capitol. So the day after last month's meeting, the Assembly member introduced a new bill that we're really excited for. I don't know if y'all remember, but there was the little Pomeranian out in the Palisades that was lost and then reunited with his owner. Well, essentially what this bill would do is this first of its kind legislation that when it comes to natural disasters, oftentimes folks might be at work, they might not be at home. There's no plan for what to do with your pets. And so what the bill would require is for local cities and governments to come up with a plan on how pets and their owners can be reunited. This bill is important because Assemblymember Zebur believes that our pets, our animals, are just as much family as as humans are. And also, it's a public safety issue because a lot of folks are risking their lives trying to go into these disaster areas to rescue their animals. And so, what this bill would do is it would require for plans to be put in place for how folks can either get to their animals or who can be tasked into getting their animals. And it's called the Found Act, if you want to learn more. And at the last meeting, I know I was asked about, issues around immigration, et cetera. There are a few immigration bills that are making their way through the assembly, particularly when it comes to ICE presence on schools or buffer zones around community gathering areas, schools, churches, et cetera. I don't have a formal position from the assembly member yet on those bills. That's just common practice. He won't weigh in on a bill until it's in front of him, whether that be in committee or on the floor. But as soon as I have an update on that on those pieces of legislation, I'll make sure to follow back up with you. And then when it comes to the current administration, the assembly member, of course, was very supportive of Governor Newsom convening the special session earlier last year or this year to make sure that the state has enough funding to engage in important lawsuits that uphold California's values, especially against a hostile administration. And of course, we're going to continue to monitor. And then finally, you may have heard, but about a UCLA student who was uh, detained at the border. We are monitoring that situation. And in light of also in South LA, there was the attempt of immigration officials to go to a school. I think it was like a middle school or an elementary school. Well, the assembly members actually joined other members of the LA County delegation to write a letter against that and against what had happened. So I'm happy to share once that letter circulates publicly. I'll make sure to share that with you as well. But Assemblymember Zebur is joining his LA County delegation colleagues on that front. So those are my updates for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua. And again, I would like to make a recommendation to the assembly member that if he can visit this detained student at wherever he's being detained, and once you get more information, let us know how we can help and support in that aspect too. This is a matter that is starting to affect us, like it's affecting every other state. It's even though this state is known to be a sanctuary, at least majority sanctuary, there's still a lot of things in this state that it looks like they're getting by, and eventually it might come to LACC or it might come to another schools, elementaries, and others. So whatever happens in UCLA will most likely affect us here too. So keep us posted on that, and uh, do not stop in letting us know what we can do to help as well. Um, if there's any more information you can share, we would appreciate it. And of course, you can reach to us to email about it. So thank you for that. And does anyone from our panelists have any questions or any comments? If not, we will go to the attendees who have two hands raised. I'll ask if, again, you have a minute. I see three hands, so three. So I'll take these three hands and each one will have a minute. Henry, go ahead. I ask you to unmute.
Sorry, you can take another speaker. I'll go last as part of the speakers, please. Thank you.
Okay. I see Audela, you have a minute.
Yes, thank you for waiting so long to talk to us and to hear from us. I would like to let you know that Beit-Shor Tomasian, she at the bid meeting said that in 96, I believe it was, that when they changed the name to L. Ron Hubbard Way, that they also vacated the street. And that is absolutely untrue. L. Ron Hubbard Way is a public street, and I am shocked that an assembly person, it was a senator's office person would not know that. And so I want to know, do you know that it's not vacated, that it is a public street? I would like to know that. I'm sure Carla knows. I know she knows. But everyone should know that. And I would like to make sure that DeRozo's Burr's office, that you all are very, that you like state the truth and the facts, and that you acknowledge that that is public street. It belongs to the public. It has not been vacated, because I am like extremely shocked to hear that Durazo's office believes that it's been vacated since
That's what I
'96.
meant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coulter. We will now go to Gina. We allow you to, oh, oops, Gina, I'll allow you to talk. And then
Hello,
we come
thank
back to Henry.
Okay, hello, thank you. I am not a resident of California. However, I do work, and have contact with Wisconsin's government, and I'm very big on human trafficking, and I'm wondering what you are doing. I mean, I hear about the ICE and immigration, but what about the human trafficking going on in your city on LRH Way with children being sent, having their passports taken, and human trafficking, the child abuse? What about all that right there in CD 13? Why is nobody looking into this? There's lots of documentation, but you guys all keep turning a blind eye. Why? Why is this happening in your city, I don't understand, in your neighborhood?
Give me the wires. I can charge my chair.
Whoa, point of order. What's going on? Please keep yourselves muted.
That wasn't me. But
Yes,
anyway,
Gina.
I give back my time. I just want to know why you guys are allowing this to happen.
Thank you, Gina. Joshua, you want to respond?
No, I'm taking down my notes right now.
Okay. All right, Henry, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just had a rather short question. When it comes to complaints people might have for Brown Act and other city public comment hearings, I just wanted to see if you might have any information for me on who I can get in touch with just to forward my complaints to. I'm not sure if the best starting approach would be just to email you, but I'd appreciate it if you have some other additional contact information for me on where I can forward such complaints regarding cure and corrects and the Brown Act violations. Thank you.
I think for that one, and I don't know if somebody from the city might be able to correct me on this. I think that goes to the local district attorney. So I guess, I think in that case that would be Nathan Hockman here in LA County, if I'm correct on that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Joshua. Do we have any questions from the panelists, from our board members? Okay, thank you, Joshua, for your time.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get that corrected next time for the agenda too. All right, anyone else have a report? I see Carla from CD13. I'll ask you to unmute if you have a report.
Yes, so I'll go through it pretty quickly because I do have a few updates. So first, I wanted to talk about Mayor Karen Bass's released proposed budget for the new fiscal year. So that budget proposal was released today. So our team is thoroughly reviewing the proposal because we, at the same time that everyone else learned about it, we learned about it as well as a council office. So our team is going to review the proposal to assess the impact that the proposal will have in our communities. And if you want access to this budget proposal, you can look it up at cao.lacity.gov/budget. Again, it's cao.lacity.gov/budget. So that's publicly accessible for everyone. So just to give a little bit of context here for the budget. So the city is currently facing a critical budget deficit. So this is related to downward economic trends that have driven city revenues far lower than previously projected, in addition to wildfires in the Palisades that have increased costs related to emergency response and recovery, as well as liability payments that have tripled. So there's also been a downward national economic trends that have affected the budget for this year. So so that's the response to that is the mayor's budget that she released today. So this budget is not final. So the city council must consider this budget and approve it by June 1st, 2025. So public hearings will be held for community members to voice their concerns or provide feedback on the budget. So these will be taking place this Friday, will be the first one. So Friday, April 25th at 1 p.m. at Van Nuys City Hall. And then there's going to be a second one on Monday, next Monday, April 28th at City Hall in downtown City Hall from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So again, those dates for the public hearings will be this Friday, April 25th at 1 p.m. at Van Nuys City Hall, and then the other one will be Monday, April 28th at downtown City Hall from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So this is an opportunity for community members to voice their concerns or ideas or comments on the budget, which will help assess and help the council members know what the priorities are for those communities. So we do know that a lot is at stake with this budget. So we also wanted to inform and educate the community about what the budget proposal means for the community and the impact that this will have, and to answer questions about the mayor's proposal. So Councilmember Soto Martinez will be hosting a Budget 101 conversation that's open to the community. So our first one will be held on Monday at 6 p.m. at the Brzee Foundation at 184 Bimini Place. So this is an opportunity for folks to ask questions to the council member or learn more about the budget process and what that means for the city. So there's an opportunity for the community to join. So you could attend, you could also register for the event. So you could register using the link bit.ly/Ugo Budget 101. So that's an opportunity for you to register for the event, but it's open to the community. So again, the address is 184 Bimini Place at the Brzee Foundation. I also wanted to update that the mayor is hosting a day of service this Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is a citywide effort across 7 different council districts. This is a community cleanup event that different council offices are hosting, and the kickoff event for the day of service will actually be in Hollywood. So the kickoff will take place in our CD13 Hollywood district office at 6501 Fountain Avenue. So there'll be free food and supplies will be provided for the cleanup. So we encourage you to join not only Mayor Bass, but Councilmember Soto Martinez in Hollywood this weekend to help support there in the community cleanup. And also wanted to update, it was mentioned by Jennifer earlier, but the Thai New Year Festival hosted by Thai CDC and local partners will be taking place this Sunday, April 27th. So our office is proud to support this event. The council member will be in attendance. It's a family-friendly event that will start with a parade at 10 a.m. and a program and performances that will go on until 10 p.m. Along Hollywood Boulevard from Western Avenue to Normandy. So this is also a notice for everyone of the traffic impact in the area. So again, it's on Sunday, April 27th, that there will be a street closure on Hollywood Boulevard from Normandy Avenue to Western Avenue. And I also wanted to update that last month's meeting. I know I updated everyone on our approved $100,000 of discretionary funding for tree trimming in the district. So our team has compiled a list of trees that have been flagged to us by the community for trimming. So for the recent wave of funding that we were able to access, we completed tree trimming in the more northeast portion of our district. So that included Elysian Valley and Echo Park, but we're hoping to extend those efforts into the Hollywood and East Hollywood portion of our district soon. So so far I've received 2 locations in the East Hollywood area from community members. So that's one by the Fountain Theater and the other on the corner of Santa Monica and Alexandria, but we're hoping to add more. So I encourage you to please share different locations with me so that when we get another wave of funding, we make sure to target the East Hollywood area. And that's it for my updates. One last thing, I noted Audit LA's comment about the recent incidents on L. Ron Hubbard Way this weekend. So I made note of those, and we'll be following up with BSS to let them know of the incident and see what we can do there to support.
Okay. All right. Do we have questions from board members? We'll go with board members first. Then we go with the attendees. Coulter, I see your hand up.
Hi, Carla. Thank you for coming. Carla, you said that there's money for tree trimming coming. I believe at a previous meeting you said that would only be for essentially high risk trees that are blocking power lines and stop signs and things like that. What are the parameters to qualify for this tree trimming money?
Yeah, so you're right. So it'd be those instances where trees are either covering stop signs, covering street signs, on bordering on the walls of a building, on the roof of the building. So those are the ones that we're prioritizing right now. So I know like the one by the Fountain Theater is leaning against the wall of the building there. So that's definitely one that we want to prioritize. But any similar instances where maybe there's a tree branch that looks like it could potentially fall, those are things that we're looking into. But when we do send over a list to urban forestry, they also look into the parameters of what they would consider high risk. So that's helpful for me to get as many as I could in my specific neighborhoods as a field deputy. That way, when we send it to urban forestry, they're able to also assess which trees are priority for them once they investigate.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions from board members? Rosie?
Hello, yeah, I had a quick question. So we were able to get 100K, you said, for tree trimming, correct?
Yeah, so it was 100,000 that was approved of our discretionary funding to help urban forestry with tree trimming in our district specifically. But because we have multiple neighborhoods in our district, it's a pretty big district, we are able to target the more northeast portion of our district, so Elysian Valley and Echo Park, some trees that haven't been trimmed in a while there. But we're hoping that wave of funding has finished, so we're hoping to get another wave of funding that we could hopefully target Hollywood and East Hollywood.
I see. But do you happen to know like how they come up with the number or like how this funding comes about?
How the $100,000 got approved?
Yeah. Or just like the process of that? Do you know?
Those conversations I wasn't a part of. I believe my directors had a call with urban forestry and asked what the needs are to support tree trimming in our district specifically. So I don't know exactly what the conversation was, but or how the number $100,000 came to be, but I'm happy to check in on that to let you know and give you more details.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I was just curious, that's all. Thank you.
Actually, there'll be information I think I would like to hear about as well. So besides that, all right, we will go to the attendees. You all have a minute, so I'll go in order again. Oh, Doug, apologies.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know if it showed up. Just real quick, is there any answer to my question that I've been asking regarding why the city trash containers along Western Avenue were removed last year, and also now they're removing them on Santa Monica Boulevard? And then I have a second question, which is the position of your office on the proposed sanitation fee increase. I will point out that because it's tied to your DWP bill, the increase is a huge burden for the members of my community, because if you can't pay that, they shut your electricity off.
Thank you, Doug. So right now, I have no official position to share about the sanitation fee increase. Once I do, I'll let you know. I'll let the group know as well. And then when it comes to the trash bins, I have no update as of yet, but I'll follow up with sanitation to get you an answer.
Okay. Any more questions for her, Doug? Okay. We'll go then with the attendees. Henry, I'll ask you to unmute.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I just had a question to Carla. I know there's going to be a public forum about it, but if you have any comments on this, it would be really helpful. So it's regarding the budget, specifically on the council members' proposition and any other discussions you guys might have had on your stance on the mental evaluation units. And to give some context to this, two things. So back in July 2015, Officer Ted Simola, one of the representatives of the MU units, is known for saying publicly that the MU units, in a good way, is going to put us all out of work. I stood there personally, following up on my second point, in October where I watched Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez actively vote to defund the MEU program and actually allocate the budget specifically instead of the DMH, specifically targeting it just to LAPD overtime and take it out actually from the MEU program. It was to the tune of about $250,000, and I'm just curious on what your office has to say about that and your overall stance on the MEU program.
So I don't have an official position that I could share with everyone. Our team again is still reviewing the budget. However, we do want to prioritize, our office's priorities, which have always been housing, homelessness, transportation. So those are the items that we'll definitely be looking into. But to your specific question, I don't have an answer as of yet. Our team is still reviewing the budget, but happy to follow up with you on that.
Okay, thank you. So, Coulter, I saw your hand up. You have something quickly to add?
Yeah, sorry to come in last second on this, but I'm looking over this budget. It looks like that the neighborhood councils are going to be dropped from 32K to 25K next year. This is after we were dropped from 50K to 32K after COVID. Carla, is Ugo in the office, are they going to support that cut?
So again, I can't confirm right now of what the priorities or stances of the budget are within our office. We're still reviewing, but happy to chat with you offline on that so we could get some answers.
Okay, Carla, when is your office going to be able to talk about that?
I'll have to get back to you on that because our legislative team is reviewing the budget at the moment. So I'll hopefully get an answer by this week.
Okay, do you think it's going to be after? Okay, so this week, so you think you would be able to know by next month's meeting, possibly?
Yeah, the goal is to also have some answers for you before the public hearing, so you could have that information.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now go to Audit LA. You got a minute.
Thank you, Carla. I just want to, thank you for saying you're going to go to BSS because they said that your input sways things for them. But I want you to know that besides depriving me of being able to go through and needing the police to enforce it, after I left, after the police left, they went back to closing the sidewalk and not allowing the people that they didn't want in. And just to let you know, that's how belligerent they are. They also, with the fire lane, it's not like before where the captain or chief, whatever, battalion chief said, oh, even though they're slowed down dramatically, we can still zigzag through. No, it was completely closed across the entire street, maybe 4 or 5 feet availability. And there was hundreds of children in there. If there was a fire, emergency, ambulance, anything, they would not have been able to get through at all. And it's egregious. And then they also had a rabbit, like a little petting zoo. Okay. And these bunnies were in the sun. Okay. They had an umbrella over them, but as the sun changes, I don't know at what point it seemed like when I saw it, there was still sun.
Thank you, Audit LA. Time's passed. Carla, you want to respond to that?
No, just making note of it so that I could flag that to BSS as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Audit LA. We will now go to Jose. Are you waiting for your report? Let me allow you to speak. Or you have a question?
No, I'm waiting for my report.
Okay, perfect. We'll come back to you. Don't worry. Gina, go ahead. I'll allow you to speak.
Thank you. Carla, I just have a question and a comment for you. I heard you say that for this community cleanup that the supplies were donated. I would like to know, do you know who they were from and any which way is it tied to the Church of Scientology? And then I would also just request that if they do show up for this and then they have their front group, the volunteer ministers, that they do not use this as a recruiting event. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to clarify for which cleanup were you mentioning? Because I don't think I mentioned donation of supplies.
I thought I heard you say for this cleanup that the supplies were donated.
Is it for the one on Saturday, the Mayor's Day of Service?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that the supplies for that are actually provided by the Office of Community Beautification. So it's a city department. It's not necessarily a donation. It's just we're borrowing the supplies from that department.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Gina. We will now go to Gina. Have you spoken already, or or was that someone else? Because I think there was two G's. So, I'll ask you to unmute. You have a minute.
I just spoke. The other one is
Okay.
Gigi. I'm Gina.
Okay, perfect. All right. If you can lower your hand, that would be most helpful. All right. Um, Besides that, Carla, the only thing I would ask that you find out soon is that you find out what's going on with the budget, what you guys see before the actual date that before the date we could speak to Hugo, I think next week, correct? So if you could figure out and answer those questions that our members have, that would be helpful. And if you could let us know beforehand what the stances are, that would be great as well. We also, I guess I got homework for the board as well to take a look at the budget now that's available. So go ahead and read it. That's the homework from me to you guys. Read that and take a look, take notes, and then give me 500 pages of what do you think. So that's my homework for me to you guys. And of course, I'll do one page, okay? Since I'm the one that's giving the homework. I'm the teacher here. So I'm joking. But with that being said, thank you, Carla, for your time. We will now go to wait, before you leave, Carla, there's Gigi's phone. Okay, I knew it was missing. I saw two G's. All right, last question. Last question for you, Carla. So here you go. I'll allow you to talk Gigi's phone. I almost missed you. You go. You have a minute.
Thank you. I was about to have to write an email about this, but
No apologies.
I was gonna have a different question, but something happened. I don't know with the borders if it's in this council, but I'm pretty sure it's CD 13 at Western and Sunset around 5 p.m. There was a person on the ground with blood, but there was no like car or anything in sight. There was a scooter next to them. And it just reminds me that this is happening a lot more around here. Around Western, it's happening a lot. And I'm wondering, what's Hugo going to do about that? Because enough's enough. And the person just drove off or whatever. Maybe the person fell off this. I don't know. But there's too much going on where pedestrians, people on scooters, people on bikes are getting hurt and nothing's being done. So can Hugo do anything about that?
Yeah, and just for clarification, was that incident today?
Yes, at 5 p.m.
Okay, I could follow up with LAPD on that just to get
I
more
don't know
information.
the
Sorry, go ahead.
intersection, but Sunset and Western.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I could definitely follow up with LAPD to get more information on that specifically. And if it was a pedestrian traffic incident, that's something that's definitely a priority for our office. We definitely want to see how we could invest in more infrastructure that supports pedestrians, bikers. So that's definitely one of the priorities for our office. That's why you see different infrastructure like the Hollywood bike lanes. And that's definitely those are definitely the models that we want to follow to avoid incidents like this. So that's definitely a priority in our office. But to the specific incident, I'll make sure to follow with LAPD to get more information on what happened there.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you, Carla. So we will now go to Jose. I ask you to unmute. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jose Galdames with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, the Neighborhood Empowerment Advocate for the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. I got a couple updates for the board. One, it's regarding upcoming deadline. So for the fiscal year, there's funding deadlines that come up. May 20th is the last day to submit event approval forms. June 1st for check payment request, which would be typically your MPGs. And then June 20th is the last day to use the NC Bank card with the current fiscal year funds. After that, they're restricted down to $1 so that the city clerk is able to close out the accounts for the fiscal year. And then July 1st will be the date where the neighbor councils can submit their approved fiscal year administrative packets for the year 2025, 2026, so that you're able to gain full access to your accounts. If not, then the neighbor council would just be limited to operations of up to $600 that are set to each of the bank cards. until the board approves their fiscal administrative packet and submit it over to the city clerk's portal. The other deadline we have is the park needs assessment, which is June 2nd. The City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks is creating a park needs assessment for 2025 and invites your input to guide this process. Please submit brief reports by June 2nd, outlining the conditions of the park in your neighborhood and the top priorities. 3 to 5 key challenges or opportunities. This feedback will help distinguish local needs and inform decisions for the RAP, council districts, and other stakeholders. Additionally, we encourage you to take the park assessment needs assessment survey, share it with your community, which is the site is the needs.parks.lacity.gov. For more information, visit their website, available in 11 languages. For questions, LA City Parks needs at the olinsstudio.com. We look forward for your input. Also, there's a April Homeless Liaison meeting on Wednesday, April 30th at 6 p.m. It will be held virtually. Homeless liaisons, neighborhood council board members, neighborhood council stakeholders, committee members will have an opportunity to hear from Fountain House Hollywood Executive Director and Mental Health Social Practitioner, Jillian Santoro. Attendees will also collaborate with neighborhood councils to share the resources, brainstorm ideas, and discuss what the community's efforts in addressing homelessness have looked like, gain a greater understanding on how mental health and homelessness are interconnected, and learn how they can best support unhoused neighbors with compassion. Again, please take opportunity for those interested to sign up and RSVP for those virtual meetings. And also in regards to your elections for the Region 5 for East Hollywood, the uncertified unofficial results will be posted tomorrow on April 22nd, and then the official results will be posted by April 30th. And also remind neighborhood councils about the retention of NC materials for neighborhood councils that are interested in picking up those materials to communicate that over to the city clerk's office so that you can make an arrangement of which board members will go to the city clerk's office elections divisions over at Piper Tech in order to pick up those materials for the elections that they gather for each of the neighborhood councils. And then the sitting of the new board of the elected boards will take place on July, starting the fiscal year. And we'll be coordinating with executive officers regarding suggested language for the onboarding of the new elected board members. And then with the proceeding for elections of officers, financial officers, and so forth, that take place right at the beginning of those meetings. Also, as a reminder, just want to remind the board regarding that pending CPRA. If you board members, please respond and confirm. The department's trying to assisting the neighborhood council in trying to close out the request. Please make sure to do so as soon as possible. And yeah, look for any questions, comments from the board.
Okay, thank you very much, Jose. We have a few hands from our panelists and 3 from the attendees. So we'll go from our panelists. First off, Jillian, and then we'll go to Coulter.
Thank you. What was the date of for the minutes? What was the date of the homeless liaison meeting, please?
Oh, sorry, that'll be April, let me see. April 30th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Also, if you could send those dates back to us, Jose, that would be excellent. You could
Yeah.
resend those dates because
I'll
okay.
resend them.
Thank you, because we get a ton of emails, so we may have missed that. Coulter, go ahead.
Hi, Jose. Thank you for coming. I have two questions for you. Number one, in the budget next year, are the neighborhood councils going to be able to roll over their money, or is that being taken as well?
That I don't know. We're gonna get for clarification from the city clerk's office, NC funding program, as for the clarification regarding the rollovers. But earlier too, regarding the proposed budget that the mayor released, it's available for neighbor council board members. You can find it on the volume 2. I think it'll be like page 500. Let me see.
So Jose, can you confirm then that the amount the neighborhood council is going to get next year is going to be dropped from 32K to 25K?
According to the proposed budget, that's what it shows for 25,000 for
Okay.
the next fiscal year.
You know what they're cutting for the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment as a whole?
I don't know. We're still looking over the budget itself. So I'm still even gathering that information. Probably know more by tomorrow as well.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a significant cut too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. The city has not been supportive of neighborhood councils, and why would they start now? So, one more question for you, and that is around the trainings for the new board members. Are they going to be able to be registered for those trainings prior to when they're seated in July, or is the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment going to force us to seat them before we're able to get them logins for their trainings?
No, we'll be making sure to coordinate that with a timely manner so that for me, like I'll be thinking more of like starting like in sometime in June to give them the accesses to their Cornerstone accounts, especially those that are new. And then for board members that gotten reelected, you still have access to your Cornerstone account. And if you need to renew your training, please do so. If you have any issues regarding the Cornerstone, please let me know. But we'll be coordinating that, and I'll be informing, especially the newly elected members, the step-by-step processes, and then when we're going to be providing those accesses. Just we want to make sure we don't affect all the current board members right now as well. For those that are terming out or if anything, and then for the newly elected, we'll be making sure that they have full access and they're able to complete the trainings within a timely manner for the sitting of the board.
Gotcha. I know. Sorry, I know I said one last question before, but as far as you all can tell, are there any staff cuts to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment as a result of this budget?
I don't know. Can't speak to that yet because I'm still looking over the budget.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Jose. Now we go to attendees. They have questions as well. So, RLA, go ahead. You got a minute.
Hi, I have a suggestion about, like, I don't think there's enough training. A couple of months ago, and this is no shade on anyone at in this council, but the former treasurer made a comment that he wanted to kill himself during, in response to a public comment asking why a bill hadn't been getting paid. And and the President Martinez, he just like continued with the meeting as if nothing happened. I personally was shook up for a long time after that because it's all on Zoom and I felt helpless because I didn't know if he was serious or not. I don't know him as well. So, and I'm not blaming, I think that I'm not blaming Mr. Martinez. I mean, in that kind of situations, like, okay, maybe you don't know what to do, but I do blame Dunn and I do blame Bonk for not having appropriate training. Also with Palms, okay, that one of their people he got himself kicked out of his board and censured because he went after somebody who's a protester. And again, it goes to training, like that, how to handle difficult, situations and handle maybe a heckling or whatever. He was not prepared. And again, I don't blame him as much, and I don't really blame the count. I blame the people who, you say provide all this training. You guys are the brainstorms. You're supposed to be thinking about these things. You're supposed to be able to,
Okay.
I don't know, have a
Thank you,
handbook or something.
RLA. Jose, you would like to respond to that?
So in regards to trainings, the department has had several trainings for neighbor councils. Also resources that are available to them on our website under for neighbor council board members. page, workshops and informations in regards to just different topics. We'll also provide them with scripts and how to like also deal with difficult people. There's also workshops that have taken place at the Congress as well in how to deal with difficult people. The resources as well in order to how to mediate certain situations. They can always reach out to the department with the NEA and work with them so that we can coordinate with the labor relations division in order to provide any resources and help for neighbor councils.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll go to Henry. You got a minute?
This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah, thank you. I just had a few questions. So, regarding training, I know part of it is dealing with difficult people, but I think it would behoove not only this neighborhood council, but the Dunn office to work at the county level, because there is in fact a commission specifically that handles and is actually pushing for training for neighborhood councils on more sensitive matters rather than just, you know, situational issues that more to do with, you know, issues in the workplace as opposed to more or less 5150 incidents. The second one is regarding the budget. So I just want to see what your office's stance is in regards to the reports made by our city controller, Kenneth Mejia, and his expose on the Inside Safe program. The fact that they've wasted about $500 million and that there's been no move at all in the positive manner for reducing homelessness and helping people escape poverty. Just love to hear your thoughts on, you know, Kenneth Mejia's report and the State of the Union on Mayor Karen Bass's Inside Safe program.
Jose?
Right now, I don't have any comments related to it. The only thing we can encourage our neighbor councils is to weigh in on by providing the community impact statements, sending letters to the elected offices regarding any issues that to be voiced over to the city decision makers in the city of Los Angeles. That's the main thing that we constantly advocate for neighbor councils and pushing in regards to who they can voice those concerns and how to voice those concerns to them.
Okay. Thank you, Jose, for that. So yes, keep us posted on the budget and all the questions that our board members ask about that. That's going to be something crucial that we're going to be taking a look at again now that it's been released today. So I need to go and pull all-nighters now to take a look at it myself. So we'll see what happens. And thank you for that report, Jose. And we'll try to get the CPR stuff to you as soon as possible.
No problem. Oh, hey, Christopher, one more thing before cut off. For anyone that wants to look directly on the page that mentions the neighbor councils itself, it's going to be on the volume 2 of the CAOs links that they have right there regarding the proposed budgets. It'll be page 965 that you can look into, or you can actually click on it on the table of contents page to just look for the neighbor councils.
Can you send us that information just in case, Jose?
Sure. Yeah, I can send you the
Perfect.
links.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Jose. With that, we go on to any more reports. Is there anyone else that has a report that's part of community reports, senior lead, budget, advocate, LA County, public library? I plan to reach out again to these individuals. So I will be reaching out. I'll be doing a full blitz on them because they should come and speak about this. So I will be reaching out. Oh, Jennifer, you have a question?
Yeah, Chris, I don't know if that's here or if I have to wait till later on, but I think it's pretty disappointing. The the LA County Supervisor's representative wasn't here. LA County also released their budget last week, and I think it'd be really important for them to come share about it given what's going on with the city, because the
Mhm.
county's budget is also not great. And it should really be important for us to know about the impacts of both.
Mhm. I agree with that 100%. That's why I wanted to see if I do the blitz and reach out to them. Coulter?
Jennifer, I just want to thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
I absolutely think that's something we should prioritize as well. I feel like our neighborhood council does not do as good of a job as I'd like for us to stay updated, not just on the city budget, but also on the county budget, and to an extent, the state and federal budget. I'd love for us to stay updated on all those things. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I really appreciated you bringing that up because I completely agree with you.
Okay, we will now be moving on. I don't think there'll be any more questions on this, so we will end discussion on this. The community voices, again, Thai CDC, Happy New Year's to them. So we had an item discussing about them. I'm gonna see if I could reach out to a few of these members. East Hollywood bid, has anyone been attending that from our board? If not, since Jeff is not here, we will be tabling that since he's technically the liaison for that. Yes, I see your hand, Audit LA, but since Jeff is not here, um, we need an official board member to give that report, but appreciate it. We will now go back to budget and finance action items consent agenda. So we will go to the budget and finance action items. So here's what I would like to do here for these three first items. We did talk, if I remember, Coulter, you could back me up on this in case. We did talk about how we could kind of have these items to be like a consent agenda type format. So I wanted to see if we could do that. So Coulter, what do you think?
Not kind of. We absolutely can do this. We have
Okay.
with the city clerk's office a ton of different times, and we
Mhm.
absolutely do this.
Yes. So even though we have to do different BACs for them, it doesn't matter. They will all just have the same vote. And if you all do not want to vote on one item, you could take it out and we could talk about that separately. So this is what we'll do. Approval of these Hollywood Neighborhood Council monthly expenditure report for February, March, and November. So we need to reapprove the one for November, unfortunately. So that's one of these three items we're going to vote on right now as a consent. Um, Approval of funding to increase site hosting package, so site does not go down for being oversized. That's another one that will be on the consent. And E, approval of $40 a year plugin for website is currently security risk. So that's another one. I myself want to take out D&E. I think those should be taken out. We need to talk about that. I think they should be separate. So we will take those out. We will be voting on A, B, and C. I see your hand is up, Jillian.
I was getting clarification about if, so you are automatically breaking out D&E.
Yes. Okay. I move. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, Jillian.
All right, consent agenda for A through C.
Mhm.
Christopher,
Yes.
Jillian, yes. Coulter,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Rosie,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. So just for clarification for you, Mike, so now that these have passed, we just generate BACs for each one with the vote that we just casted for each one.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. All right, let's go to D. Approval of funding to increase site hosting package. The site does not go down for being oversized. The amount is somewhere between 144 to 360. So calling for up to 360 for this item. We technically wanted to speak to the board about this, so to give more of our thoughts on this. Mike, do you want to start on this? On why D we took it out?
Yeah, Well, for this, I don't think we necessarily need to spend $360 for hosting for a year. We did talk in the past about moving onto our own hosting package versus the current setup where we're sort of sharing hosting with a variety of other folks. Outside of that one time where we had some changes to something really technical that brought the entire website down, and then we were off for a couple months with access issues. We haven't had like systemic issues where we had like sustained periods going dark, but it still probably behooves us to get our own hosting package. But I think, we should find a good price for that.
Coulter?
Thanks for that, Mike. So do you want to just table this and we can figure out how we're gonna do this holistically in the like an outreach meeting or something, or what do you want to do then moving forward? Because I'm very open to the idea that we should just rethink all this entirely and try to figure it out holistically, but also, I don't want the site to go down, but if you're saying that the site won't go down if we don't do this, then I'm fine with us just regrouping on this and figuring it out.
Yeah, I think we should take it offline and get our ducks in a row in time for pulling together the budget for next year.
Okay. Then in that case, we would table this item. So D will be tabled. So just for your information, Julian. And as for E, I bring the same question again. For E, I don't think we've got any more information on this one. So would this also be a table? Coulter, you have your hand up.
I think we might as well approve this one. My understanding is that our website's essentially been in danger for months now by us not having this plugin. It's $40. I'm hesitant to wait a whole another month to do this, just because of the low price. But I'm open to other ideas. But I'm pretty nervous about us not passing this one right now.
Okay. Anyone else? Mike? Thoughts?
Which plugin are we talking about? Is it Contact Form 7?
I don't know for sure. It's some kind of security plugin.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should probably reconvene on this one. It sounds like we're getting hustled.
Okay. I guess I'm fine with tabling it then.
Okay, I think we could wait one more month, right? So I don't think it should be too much to worry about on that. If not, we just do a special governing board if we need to pass this. All right?
Yeah,
So
email me what the plugin is and I'll investigate as well.
all right. Perfect. All right, so E will be also tabled as well. So with that, we go to committee reports. 1 minute per item. We go to arts and culture. Julian?
Does anyone I'm sorry, my brain is so fried from taking notes for the last 2 hours. Did arts and culture meet? I don't recall.
No, we pushed.
Thank
We
you.
postponed due to lack of updates. We're just postponing till next month.
Yes, we continue to we've made progress with closing the loop on these lingering reapprovals of those utility box murals. We are chugging along with the city council or city clerk's office with getting all of the necessary approvals in place to get those artists classified as vendors. Shout out to Anna. She's been incredibly helpful in like macheting through that bureaucratic process. So we're moving forward on that. And then we have slow but steady progress on the mural walls and trying to find an alternative to the 7-Eleven that went dead. So those are the updates. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, thank you, Julian, for taking notes. I know this is taxing, so thank you very much for that. So we go to budget and finance. So before you start, Mike, we've been getting a lot of MPGs. I'm guessing, I'm not sure how you guys want to tackle this, but I'm guessing next month we'll start looking at them, right? Especially with the May 20th deadline coming up, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to agendized, but it'll be my first time starting this position going
Yeah.
through this song and dance. So definitely leaning on the team for what we usually do.
Oh, hey Chris, it's Jose. The deadline for check for MPGs would be the June 1st for check payment.
June 1st. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Coulter?
Yeah, I just want to kind of flag this and give some general thoughts here. I mean, if our budget's going to be cut by 7K next year, just in general, I think our May budget meeting
should be on that.
Be really intense in general.
Mhm.
I think whatever spending we can do for long-term things we can, we probably should. There might be other items too. Also, the produce box event, we might need to get some forms passed for that or some money specifically voted on for that too. So the situation is really rough, and you
Yeah.
know, I think we all need some time to kind of review the situation with the budget and have us kind of think about that holistically. But I just wanted to prepare everyone that next month's budget and finance meeting and everything around budget and finance next month could be
crazy,
full of debate.
Yeah.
But I don't think is a bad thing. So I just want to kind of mentally prepare everyone for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be wrong to say that the next budget and finance meeting, the budget of the city might dominate it. So that might be the main thing we talk about, especially since we're going from what, 35 to 25. So yeah, that's not great. But yeah, thank you for that, guys. So yeah, look forward to that. We go to business. Coulter?
We didn't meet this month. I think we will probably meet next month. I'd like to discuss putting creating some kind of recommendation for an ordinance for East Hollywood around vents to fireproof the attic vents. Sorry, screens to fireproof the attic vents in East Hollywood's houses. I don't know if anyone caught what the fire guy said at one of the previous meetings, but basically, if Barnsdall had caught on fire during the fires, that ash or whatever the word is for it would have fallen into all these vents because there aren't specific screens on there to prevent that. That would have caused such a large fire that it likely would have burnt down all of East Hollywood, is what they said. You know, I think that should probably be a priority of us to figure out exactly what he was talking about and be thinking about this for the future. The idea that we have what's the word I'm going for? Existential threat to our neighborhood that has not been dealt with, I think is something important for us to think about. So anyway, I'm thinking about us trying to have a discussion around that at the next meeting. So we'll probably meet May 6th to discuss that.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. For bylaws, since elections are coming up and the swearing of the new officers will be coming up soon, Coulter, I think we should take a look at the bylaws and check the standing rules to see if there's anything we need to check, because I remember we put stuff for our officers. So just like a refresher. So we might have a meeting on that. So just to check on that.
Great. Let me know.
Okay. So for the executive committee, this is our work. It's here. It's great. Also, we might talk a lot about the budget there, since we have an item specifically in executive committee about what the city's doing. So we will most likely talk about the budget there as well as is our budget and finance. So gonna be busy, busy, busy. Coulter?
Do people think it's possible for us to try to have that meeting to start the executive meeting at 6 next month? Because the budget stuff is already going to be so controversial as it is, and I just think that we just have a ton to figure out on the executive committee because of now that we just had the elections, we're going to have a new board come in. That's really going to change that potentially
The
change
dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of it, we have this horrible budget situation to figure out as well. So I just kind of wanted to throw that possibility out there. If people can't make that, obviously we'll do it at 7 like we normally do. But I just wanted to throw it out there that if we're going to have a longer meeting than normal, maybe it would make sense to start a little earlier. But just let me know offline or whatever if that's possible.
So just to get a good sense of it, Julian, Mike, how are you guys feeling about coming in at 6 for the next executive?
What is the date of that? Since
That
we're
will
meeting so,
the 14th.
Okay, I can do that.
Mike, how's that looking? Mike, how's that looking?
That should work just fine for me.
Okay. All right. So we got a good sense there. So we could have the meeting possibly at 6, Coulter. So it looks like I'll make that a lock and I'll remind everyone when we get closer. So yes, I'll make a note of that too. So it's 6. Okay. With that, we go to homelessness and displacement prevention. Mike, I'm not sure if you want to go to the thing that Empowerment is hosting, right? I think they're hosting something for that, if I heard earlier.
Yeah, there's gonna be a homelessness or homeless liaisons meeting on the 30th. So I just pinged Jose or check your inbox looking for more details there. Our last meeting we didn't meet this month, but we'll be meeting in 2 weeks with a few deliverables. So we have essentially been huddling around the resident protection ordinance, the new one that came out, and getting that information out to the public. So we're compiling a fact sheet or like a one-sheeter for distribution, just like let people know the highlights of what's in there. We'll also be compiling a list of rent-controlled properties that could be at risk in Central and East Hollywood, as well as hopefully identifying a legal resource to actually come out and discuss the new resident protection ordinance. The biggest sort of takeaway here is that it's got teeth. Folks that are, basically lawyers can solicit new business from renters who've had their rights violated and press charges. So in so much as there's an enforcement mechanism, we're feeling pretty positive about it, but just need to get the word out there now. So that's
Correct. Yeah, and I like that too because I believe if you get a lawyer, you immediately stop whatever's going to happen. So until that case is resolved, from my understanding. So that's great. Another thing I was going to mention something. Oh yes, I CC'd you on an email earlier, Mike. I'm not sure if you saw it yet, but there's an email about somebody talking about an issue with an encampment. So maybe that's something you want to take a look at and maybe even respond to as well. Coulter, see your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the homeless liaison meeting. It just seems strange to me that they're going to be having this meeting about the connection between mental health and homelessness. I mean, that's something that, our committees have been looking at for a long time. To me, it seems like that the move would have been to talk about what the implications are around the new budget around homelessness. To me, that seems like it would be a way more productive thing to talk about at this meeting. Furthermore, any kind of updates we have about the what I believe was the scathing report on Inside Safe, and not that I think Inside Safe's all bad, but I think there's a lot of questions we need answered on that too. So I'm a little disappointed in how they're doing this right now, and it just seems like it would have been a way more prudent conversation to be talking about the budget stuff. And I would almost wonder if we should hit them up and try to convince them to do that. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for that. We will now go to immigrants' rights. So yeah, oh my God, Mike, there's a lot. There's a lot here. Um, where do I start? So I spoke to the Salvadorian embassy. They were talking to me, and then they stopped because of international situation. I'm guessing you're all aware of the meeting between Trump and Bukele. So that's unfortunate. But Besides that, I know that there are some CISs I plan to bring up. So trying to see a date. So how does Mike, so how does the 7th of May work for you? I don't know if there's anything there yet. If not, we could discuss offline.
Yeah, let me it's a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It should work.
Okay. So yeah, we'll talk more offline about that. So that's when I plan to have our first immigrants' rights meeting. So I'm trying to see if I could get other people to come and speak. I'm trying to see if I get a lawyer to speak. So, and if you guys have connections to a lawyer too that might be working on immigration, please let me know. Please let me know so we could have them speak because there's 2 or 3 CISs that I've seen, especially from the city too, that I want to talk about. I want to see what we can discuss about that. And also trying to get more information from CD13 on what they've been doing too on that aspect of immigration as well. Since now the UCLA student situation is coming up, that I also want to speak on that too, see what more information we could get on that, because even though that is not in our little district here, whatever happens there affects us all, especially if it's a major campus like UCLA. So that's something we should all discuss, no matter what. Um, that's it from me on that outreach.
Yeah, we definitely need to meet in May. We didn't meet last month. We were busy with a bunch of other stuff and didn't get around to it. But uh, yeah, I guess we'll talk offline about having an outreach meeting. Obviously, we're going to talk about the website stuff and what we're going to do with that. There's some other
Mhm.
stuff we talk about too, especially a discussion about the post-election neighborhood council elections and go over all that. So yeah, we'll talk offline with everyone. We'll figure it out.
Perfect. Planning and land use. I'm guessing since Stephanie's not here, that's up to you, Coulter.
Yeah. So the last time we talked about the marijuana license, we also talked about 3 new ED1 projects that are coming in. So for folks that don't remember, the executive director of one programs are affordable housing projects. That these ones are massive. These are I think there's a 80 unit one going at 1301 North Alexandria, so Fountain in Alexandria. There's almost a 300 unit one going on the one of the corners around Vermont. And then there's another one as well that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. We had a spirited discussion about whether or not our neighborhood council should be supporting those or even writing motions to on them at all because they're by right projects, but of course they're by right because the city made them that way.
Mhm.
So it would be on us whether or not we want to write letters of support or opposition to individual ones or write a letter asking them to not make them by right. But that's for us to figure out at a later meeting. The next meeting should be May 6th. I think that's the first. No, wait, that's wrong. Whatever the second Monday of May is. We got an email today, and I called the guy and spoke with them. The bungalows, in my opinion, now have an additional threat because apparently there was something in East Hollywood where they're using some kind of loophole to try to change those bungalows into like single family housing communities so that then they can tear them down and then build them up as individual condos or something on other sides. And this is there's was one incident in Echo Park where someone tried this. This is the first time anyone's ever tried to use this to knock down a bungalow. And then the second incident is here in East Hollywood. So we're sort of at the front line of this. To me, it's a huge potential situation for East Hollywood because we have so many bungalows, Spanish style houses here that are now have an additional threat on them. So I'm going to ask Stephanie to put that on the agenda for the next meeting as well.
Okay, great. Now we go to public health, safety, and sustainability. Since Jack isn't here, are there any other members who were in the committee that could give us a mini report?
I could do a quick mini report.
Great.
Yeah, so we did not meet this month. And Jack had attended the Vermont Transit Corridor meeting that Metro had, so I don't have his notes on that. And so I can't give much of an update besides the fact that we had a great neighborhood cleanup on Saturday, and shout out to Culture for showing up. The next one is going to be in May. We'll announce the date soon. We had about 15 neighbors from the community, and also someone from Koreatown even show up to come help us out. We did a lot of work. We filled a whole huge dumpster next to Virgil Cafe. Shout out to them for hosting us. So I really think partnering with local businesses is doing really well for us as far as promotion and getting attendance up. So look forward to keep doing that. Just to end on a bit of a high note. Thanks. That's what I got.
Thank you, Josh. And again, thank you for your leadership on that. Amazing, amazing. I love it. So with that, Coulter, you had your hand up?
I was just going to thank Joshua as well.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Then channeling that power too. So with that being said, youth and education, Rosie.
We have not met in a long while. I need to get my shit together and meet. It's just me and one other person. So yeah, it's hard to brainstorm of just us two, but I'll try to I'll contact her and we'll brainstorm again.
If you want in the outreach meeting, maybe this is also a topic. If we need members to join us, maybe we should do a campaign for members that are interested in those specific committees to join, just from community. Maybe we should think about doing that. That should be on the outreach discussion of how we could do a blitz on that, because I'm planning to do that too. I forgot to mention it, but for immigrants' rights, since it's just me and you, Mike, officially, want to see if we do a blitz or an outreach campaign on just seeing who wants to join that is an expert in immigrants' right. I think that would be great. Coulter?
Yeah, sorry, I know I'm talking a lot during these committee reports,
No, it's
but
fine.
just want to tell you all that I was canvassing Virgil Village, and I met a woman that wanted to join the committee. I thought she would be an excellent fit. I can put you all in touch, so at least then you have a thing.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Yeah, again, if you need help on that too, Rosie, let us know, because youth and education, especially, we could team up with immigration, because I'm hearing they want to now go after kids too. So especially here in possibly in LA. So that might be big. So we'll be touch off base about that. Now we go to announcements, old and new business. Again, this is not on here, but an announcement I am making is a CPRA request that Jose talked about earlier. Unfortunately, we did get one, and we need to gather our emails of anything connected to Scientology. So anything connected to Scientology, we need to compile those emails, download them individually, and then put them on a folder. I think it was shared with all of us. I asked Jose to share it again with us a while ago. So unfortunately, we do have to do this. So just send us what you can, or follow the step that Jose put up there as well. And let's see if we get this done ASAP, sooner than later. So, and also if you want to talk more about it offline, let me know. So we'll get this done. As for the other things, CISs, I plan to bring more CISs for us. So those of you that have CIS credentials, I might ask for your help, because there's quite a few. There's a few that I saw for besides the budget. I've seen a few. I'm not sure if you've seen them, Coulter, too, but there's been a few floating for the budget, I think. So we'll talk offline about that. So, and then I saw some for, of course, regarding immigration. So that's another one that we'll be bringing up. And I think I saw one for I'm not sure if it's related to parking, but I plan to bring that up as well. So prepare yourselves. I plan to bring in more CISs for us to take a look at in the next few months. Coulter, you have anything to say? So you're unmuted.
I think we should be doing way more CISs as a neighborhood council, and I think we should be linking up with other neighborhood councils to do those CISs. I think that's one of the most effective things that we have going on as a neighborhood council, and we should be doing a lot more of them. So I fully support that, Chris.
Okay, thank you. So update on Produce Box events for the future. Coulter, again, thank you for the lead on this. I saw David updated. Well, I didn't get to read that one. Well, did you read it?
So basically, the situation is that it sounds like we're going to do this in one of the parking lots for from the Children's Hospital. My
Okay.
main concern right now is just that's gonna be super hot in the summer to be in a concrete parking lot.
Yes.
We don't have any shade. I don't think there's like any trees or anything over there. So I'm trying to figure out how we can get some shade for people so they're not just sitting in the blistering sun waiting on this stuff. The actual amount of food we're giving people is way down as well. We're going to be giving out more bags, but those bags are going to have less stuff in them. And they've also wanted to standardize every single thing in the bag. So we're giving out the exact same things every month, where before we're giving stuff that was seasonally fresh, if you will. I think our next call on that is like May 2nd or 3rd. I'm supposed to have a call with Rick and David from CHLA. Anyone that wants to be on that call or involved in the process, let me know. I'm happy to
What time?
I haven't given them a time yet because I'm about to start a
Okay.
new job, and so I'm trying to
Yes,
figure
yes, yes.
out my schedule. I will let everyone know as soon as I can, because I'm really excited for us to get the produce box going. I think that's a huge part of our neighborhood council and the culture we have, and the bonds that we have between each other. So I'm hoping we can get that going ASAP. But our general plan is to try to aim for the first produce box to be in June.
Agreed. Okay. With that being said, we go to the next board meeting is on May 19th. Our executive meeting will be on May 14th at 6 p.m. So keep an eye out for that. And my update, basically, the election has just passed. So now we'll just wait and see for the election information to come out. And hopefully the members that won and people win and we get to party. So with that being said, I know times are tough right now. I know things are getting tougher. I know the country is not looking very hot right now, especially with the tariffs, which is another thing. I Depending on how the board feels, I might bring an update on the tariffs too, because California is, not gonna lie, is one of the biggest economies in the world. It's considered the fifth. So we do get affected. We will be very, very much affected by this. So no matter what your beliefs are with the governor, I do appreciate the fact that we might have to do our own negotiations when it comes to goods and stuff coming to California. So I do appreciate that. So we might talk about that as well in the future. And I want to regularly bring more updates about the country as well in the future, especially since it is affecting us no matter what. For example, migration is affecting Hollywood neighborhood, our neighborhood. So is the prices of goods going up and down? That does affect us too. Our neighbors are not liking it, especially where a few weeks ago, you all remember, eggs are costing more than $10 to $20. So, and there's some places that do not have eggs. So that's something that might be interesting to us. So offline, if you guys want to talk more about it, let me know. So if not, I'll just bring minor updates like this. The budget advocates, we still need one more member. We do need one more member for budget advocates. Coulter, have you been following up with budget advocate stuff lately? I know you've been swamped.
No, I haven't, but let me be frank about it. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to go to a 2-hour meeting to be told that the situation is a disaster, and the answers to resolving it are laying off police officers. The one tool that we have in our arsenal to deal with this budget crisis is that we can lay off city employees. None of us wants to do that, but also it was a choice of our city to pass the police budget a couple of years back, and then because of that, from what I'm told, they said, well, we couldn't not pay everyone else too after we paid the police. My response to that would be, yeah, exactly. That's why we shouldn't have done that police budget. But the situation is what it is right now. So the only tool we have in our arsenal is laying people off and using that as a negotiating tactic to essentially quasi renegotiate these contracts. If not, we are looking at massive deficits going forward. And I think that that as bad as it is this year, why will it be any better next year? It could be worse next year. So I have not been going to the meetings. The very last thing I'll say on this is that what I have done though is I have been in communication with I forget the guy's name now. He's the head of the Budget Advocates. I'm blanking on his name because it's 9:30. But I had a conversation with him, and my critique of the situation with Budget Advocates was basically that, okay, we all go and learn about the budget. We all learn it's a disaster. Then what? And so the conversation I had with him was, how do we do a better job of coordinating around community impact statements as neighborhood councils, how we should be reorganizing neighborhood councils to be more effective in doing this. And that should be a higher priority than us having a bunch of meetings to figure out how bad the budget is or to make a few recommendations here and there. Because what's the point of us knowing all this if we don't have any way to create effective action around that? So that's where things are at with the Budget Advocates right now. And so hope maybe that wasn't the positive, uplifting message to end the meeting with, but that is the update I have.
Thank you, Coulter. No, well, I just did say earlier, things look very tough in the future. So you don't have to be a mind predictor of the future to see that. So, uh-huh.
I went to, or I watched Kenneth Mejia's Zoom call about like the budget and how it's broken down and stuff. And he has a whole slide dedicated to like, okay, how do we fix the budget, or how do we make the budget better? And how can like city council teams make the budget better? So I definitely like looking into his slides and seeing what we can push through. Was it CIS, correct?
BASS,
Like one
yes.
of them is like making the budget 2 years instead of every year, because it's like we're so focused on getting the budget done that once it's released, we just already focus on the next one, and we're
Yeah.
not seeing how it's played into the part. So he has a whole list that shows of things that he recommends his office of changing within the budget. So maybe that's just something we can look at and push for.
Actually, I was hoping, I wanted to see if we could get him to present on the budget too, to come to the board to speak on it, or someone from his team at least.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get some from his team to come. I love that dude. I think he's one of the best people in LA. So yeah, as much as
He's great.
these guys can.
I agree. With that being said, anyone else of the board have announcements? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. All right, I see your hand, Aaron, but this is just for announcements and all the new business. So unfortunately, there's no comments on this one. With that being said, we will adjourn the meeting at 9:26 p.m. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for being here. Have a good evening and a good night. Thank you, everybody. Until next time.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, that's all I got. See you guys. The one comment I was going to make was basically that the whole purpose of the CIS reports is actually to serve as affidavits in support of prosecution. They are case documents that they're supposed to present in order to escalate for prosecution. That's one of the things that they have within their power. That's the whole point of the CIS reports. It's not just to take the voice of the constituents, it's also to be used in support of prosecution. And those documents are supposed to make their way to Attorney General's office, to the district attorney's office, to the city attorney's office. And that is their in-house counsel. Their general counsel is all of the above. And those general counsel don't just take cases at the behest of, other government agencies. They also take cases at the behest of neighborhood councils if there's enough push for it. Or it might entice somebody else, as a private counsel to take up a case. But that was the comment I was going to make. That's the whole point of why they write the reports. It's to serve as declarations and or affidavits. So All right, see you.